back. Episode 14, Just Context Podcast. Um, I guess there's no other way to jump into it. First and foremost, I guess, and I'll dabble back into this later. I'm a little bit hurt. You know, granted, I'm a big supporter of basketball. I knew what was going to happen, but I wanted my Heat to win. I do want to give credit to the champions. I got to give credit where it's due, and I'm gonna take some stabs at it based on the fact that the Heat had a couple of people who were hurt. That was very, very needed. Not saying it's the Lakers' fault why they were hurt, but nevertheless they're hurt, and you can see that never really recovered from it. But I'm a little bit hurt. Congratulations to the Lakers. I know for people in Laker Nation, they want to go out and celebrate the way they hope they could, but based on the pandemic, celebrations was canceled. So I guess some people would just resort to driving around and honking their horns. But yeah, just so I can get it off my chest. Not a topic to jump into before I get too stressed off and go into the wildwood. Janelle, I know you saw that.
Well, I mean, I also kind of want to say, congrats to the Heat, even though they didn't win. They're my team. I don't care. I really would have wanted to see what I would personally call a fair matchup, like people who are not injured or who did not get injured, and then
Yes.
see who's on top, who's really on top. Like you have your team, I have my team. Like let's do this kind of thing. But such is life. It happens. It happens in games. Regardless, people get injured, and it turns out the way it turns out. So,
Yeah. And
you
I'm
know,
gonna say this, not to take the heat from you for a second. A lot of people have to understand the Heat came into this as an underdog. So for the fact that they knocked off the number one seed in the NBA, which is not even the number one seed just on the East alone, which was the Milwaukee Bucks, was definitely a testament. Every time everyone think the Heats were gonna lose, they show persistence. For the fact that they're the Eastern Conference Championship, they have that one that's just a sediment in themselves. And I think it shows that the Heat has a team that's ready, willing, and able to get the job done. I like the fact that what the Heat has didn't cost a lot of money. I like that. It just shows that they can be investment in pieces that could be coming to the Heat. I'm gonna say something crazy. I think the Heat has showed Giannis that his time in the Bucks is near, and there's a home for him. Because as crazy as it sounds, Giannis is going to get in the paint, and if you got Jimmy already getting in the paint, you got two guys who's going to push it. And if there's one thing that the Heat has is shooters, and I think the Lakers could contest for that. It's like the Heat had shooters; they had to make sure that they stay on press on these boys. Shout out to my boys. I guess Tyler Hero played awesome. I want to make sure he gets the credit that the youngest player in the NBA to be in the conference or be in the finals. Period. So I want to make sure that he has finals experience. So I think that as much as the team of LeBron, which had vets, people who has won championships or needed to win championships, but has been in the league for quite some time, was good because it was more veteran organized. But I felt like for the Heat as a young team showed where they have a lot more to grow and how dominant they're going to be. Because at this point, they're really not really missing a piece. But if they get one additional piece on the team, the Heat is literally going to be the number one seed in the East. So I'm happy. So at this moment, it kind of showed me what was missing because a lot of people looked at the Bucks like, you know what, the Bucks had no competition over here. Like the Bucks were supposed to dominate overall period, and then you got a bunch of young guys who played hard and could shoot. Like, and if you look at Giannis, Giannis looked over at his team on some like guys on the real. Am I the only person who can get it done? Do we have players over here who can shoot like these little boys from Miami? And I would say this, and that's one of the conversation a lot of people started jumping out to why Giannis, and I'm not going to say this because I can't predict what goes on in the NBA, that Giannis may leave and go to LA or go to Golden State or go to Miami because he needs to be on a team that, other than from, that can take the pressure off of him. So I'll say this, as crazy as it sounds, salary cap wise, if Giannis want to get more bang for his buck, Giannis, Miami's waiting for you, baby. You know, it sounds like I'm begging you to come down here, but I'm gonna say this: everything that you would need in a team, Miami has rating for you. They got young players, they got salary cap, so the money that you're looking for, they can pay you. Um, I'm a big supporter of Giannis Antetokounmpo because I like his story, but I do would love him being down here in Miami.
I I mean, kind of wonder if like he would actually make a good addition to the team, vibe wise. Like if everybody would mesh well. You know, sometimes like vibes will throw a team off.
Yeah.
So I just wonder like if that would actually be a good addition.
Well, I would say this. The thing that Jimmy came to Miami for, which I think it will benefit Giannis, is that Jimmy has always been a player, you know, who plays to the end. Like he may not be the best dunker, the best scorer, but he's the person out there who's going to give you 110%. And I feel like one team Miami, like when Miami lost Bam, you saw that because their big defensive presence kind of left, and it showed that if my and not saying Bam is not a good player, but if we get somebody like Giannis and Bam together, which will strengthen which will be in the post game for Miami, all it's gonna do is make the shooters even better because now the fear level on the team is gonna go up. Now, other than you have to worry about Giannis getting the ball inside, Jimmy driving it in the paint, right? Then you got a bunch of these little young shooters, which Miami, I felt like, and I don't want to use the word lucky, but that I felt like Miami came upon because the right investments was made based on how a lot of teams started going. Not saying they went small, but they realized that at the end of the game, like a lot of the guys who are driving in, they can get hurt. We want to make sure we have good shooters. If you're standing in mid range or outside the 3 point line, like you can get it done. And I would say this: it's been a long time that I've seen a Miami team that shoots this well. If you watch the time when it was Wade and LeBron, not saying we're switching sides, or even with Wade and Shaq, it wasn't more of a jump shot team. It was more of a team that will drive and pound the ball on you. Like LeBron will pound the ball. Wade, when they had Shaq, they were pounding Alonzo Mourning. It was just more that aggressive in I would say in a game. What Golden State has shown is that if you have a team that has a lot more shooters than a lot of the guys in the paint, all you got to do is play good defense on them, but they will miss. And if you force them to shoot and they can't make a jump shot, we're going to kill them because we got nothing but shooters over here. And I think Miami has done that very well in the Eastern Conference with gathering shooters. Now they just need that one extra piece, other than from Jimmy, that they guarantee to catch that ball in that paint and do it. Bam just need a little bit of help. But I do think that it will work pretty good. And I would say the salary cap wise, and this is a very big thing. Giannis is the reigning MVP. Regardless if LeBron got the MVP for the championship, he's the MVP for the league. He's a 2-year MVP. There's a reason why that I feel his dominance on his team. He don't got no shooter. He got this guy called Chris Middleton. Not saying I'm hating on the Bucks guys, because Bucks, I do cheer for you too, but they only have one person they can drop the ball off and they can shoot. And if they went as a number one seat with one shooter, what do you think Giannis is going to do when you put him on a team when they got like 3 or 4? You know what I mean? It hurts because that's why Golden State themselves, like I'm not, a lot of people are not paying attention. Golden State are playing their cards right, so they can try to acquire a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Because if you see what they did with Kevin Durant, not saying Kevin Durant could not take good jump shots because he's perfect at those, but as long as you can take the pressure off one of the other two guys, it's gonna hurt. And I feel like that will benefit Miami. And I think Stephen A. Smith attested for that. I think Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless both was talking about that earlier on today, based on how wonderful the Heat played. Because, like, I'm gonna say this: the Heat should give Jimmy his money. I think Jimmy deserved to get paid. I think he's proven that. He's proven that he's willing to put it on the line for Miami. So, Pat, made that happen. Not saying I'm begging. Please make that happen. That's just me.
I do just want to say that I've seen a bunch of people talking about, you know, if it was another team against the Lakers, they would have won and this and that. I mean, like, let's be realistic here. If there was another team against the Lakers, it would not be any team that was in the Eastern Conference because otherwise they would have been there and the Heat wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just out there because people are just being ridiculous at this point.
I mean, and they're just looking at it from a statistic standpoint based on what they have on paper. But I would like to say this: if Miami had their full squad and no one was hurt, I felt like we would have got better games. And the two games that Miami won to me proved my point heavily on
Mm-hmm.
what would have gotten done. They won them in tough games, even when the game when Jimmy was talking a little bit of trash talk to LeBron, where he went and I felt like that's what they capitalized in game four when they came out and not saying anything. This is what, and I think Skip Bayless is the one who pointed this out. The Lakers dominated on Miami's weakness at the moment. They realized that Bam was gone. So LeBron and AD got fed.
Mm-hmm.
When Bam came back, you can see that he's not as healthy. You and I both know coming off an injury, no one leaves an injury and pop up the next day like, guys, I'm 100%, like let's fly off the hinges. And you
Yeah.
saw that, and you saw it. You saw it when Dragic went down. I was like, when they lost Dragic, I was like, oh my gosh, Miami, I ain't gonna lie, this is your shooter right here. Like, you needed homie as your shooter. Like, you know what I mean? He was the main shooter during the whole playoffs. Like, he was the one, to me, not saying Jimmy didn't kill the Bucks, but he's the one that the Bucks didn't have no answer for. Because every time that the ball they would drive in and they dropped the ball out, Giannis couldn't get out there to defend him. And they said it, oh, Giannis need to come out and play defense and Dragic. I'm like, yeah, but Dragic is like a point guard. If he's a shooting guard. Giannis plays power forward, that center. Like, you're basically telling him to get out of paint and go out there. But if homie missed, who's gonna catch the rebound? So he's like, yo, I don't know what to do with my team. And that's where Tyler Hero was coming in, because if Dragic wasn't catching the ball to pop it, Tyler was catching it. And you started seeing that when the Heats lost those, you saw where the game became a little bit more gritty, in the sense that it favored the Lakers more, because the Lakers didn't have to worry about nobody from the edge of the court popping no 3-pointers. They know the game would came down to somebody getting it in. And I think you saw that in, if I would like to say, game 5, when Jimmy started driving it as much as he can and popping it out and looking over at homie like, shoot it, like I need you, like I'm gonna need it, like we paying you, bro. You need to score this. Like, he hit him with that. And I would say this, and again, I think, not saying anything, a lot of people say the Lakers didn't get the championship that they need because the Miami wasn't the team that they needed to face. You can't say that. Miami was a 5th seed.
Mm-hmm.
Means that they came in at the bottom, and there's no better feeling than you coming from the bottom rising to the top. And I do feel like during the offseason, Miami is going to acquire the right pieces to put them back in contentions, even if they may not be coming back to the playoff as a number 1 contender from the East, right? Based on the pieces that I know a lot of people in the East are going, because what would you say? Brooklyn Nets will have a better team next year, but I feel like Miami is top 3 going into the playoffs. And as anybody can see in any sport, whether it's basketball, football, because I now use football twice for a reason, right? When you go into any semifinals or playoffs, you can't. It's a toss-up. Your team will be good. I mean, I'm a big Brazil fan. I watched Germany dominate Brazil in different moment. You know what I mean? I've watched football. I'm a Packer fan. I know Gino's gonna be mad at me because we're supposed to say Dolphins. My wife, whole family is a Dolphins fan, and I still cheer for them even when they lose. But at any given Sunday, the ball goes any other direction. So you just gotta hope that your dudes do show up. But get to the next conversation, Gino, because we kind of hold our basketball talk.
I mean, I will say that the Dolphins have never given me a win that I deserve because being a Miami local, and I don't hold the Dolphins in as high esteem as I do the Heat, because I grew up on the Heat. I grew up on the Heat winning games. So no, I'm not upset at you being a Packers fan. I feel like if the Dolphins would give us at least one win to brag over, then maybe that would be different. It would be like, nah, we're from Miami, bro. But
Yeah. Well, and to be frank, I do rock the Miami. I wear the Miami stuff. I do cheer for them. But as you did say it, it's like Miami needs to steal me away from the Packers, and they have not given me the the opportunity to say that, you know what, the Packers green is a little bit too dark. Teal may be your color. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm looking over them like, guys, come on. I've gone to extensive Dolphin games, and I would say this, Dolphins, I've never been to your game and you won. Well, shout out to the tailgating, had fun there. But yeah, I think that's a bad. I've never been to a Dolphin games and they won.
I've never been. I've
You ever
never
been to the Dolphins game?
I've never been to a Dolphins game. Um, here what like I said, the Dolphins don't really win. So when it comes to the Dolphins, I am a fan for the individual players. If there's a player on the team itself that I like, then like yeah, I'm a root for the player. But I'm not really into the Dolphins too tough. You know, I'd like one memorable win. I'd like something. Give me something. I'm a local. I'm from Miami. Like give me something to brag about so I could brag about you. And like until then, like I said, individual players. Like I really loved Kenny Stills when he was on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always gonna ride for Ocho Cinco. That was back in the day. Even though
Ricky Williams.
like there's certain people that like I will ride for them as individual players if they're on the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much after they leave the Dolphins.
Oh yeah. I mean, but Janelle, can I tell you something crazy? We're
Uh,
talking about the Dolphins, and next year, not this football season, and any Dolphin fan, listen to me. Don't judge me for making this comment. This is for my Dolphins fan out there. You need to tank this season. Tank this season, and next season be perfect. You tank last season. You got Tua. You got Tua's in rehab right now. If you tank this season and then draft for and I would say a very good receiver, you will have your nice receiver quarterback combination started where Miami will move. I feel like Miami's doing what the Heat is doing. It's just that they haven't put two on the field as yet. I love Fitzmagic. Larry Fitzgerald is a I mean, Fitzmagic is a good player, but I would say this: I think his time has come. I think they need to give Tua an opportunity. I know that because he's rehabbing, they don't want to put him on the field, but I feel like they need to give him some NFL experience. Tank this season, get him a good receiver, get him a couple linemen that he's needed, and Miami is going to dominate the division next year. Just watch it, Remember, I told you that. So next year I guess we all gonna be wearing teal. I'm making that prediction. I think Miami is if you look at what Cleveland Browns did with Baker Mayfield, you know how they got Baker and then they got Jarvis Landry from Miami and Odell Beckham from New York, and now the team is now considered a contender. Miami's kind of in that rhythm. Miami just need a receiver. I feel like, and then in this division, because I like the fact that them and the Packers are not in the same division, I get to cheer for two teams from two different divisions. So if we technically see each other, I can be like, okay, guys, Super Bowl. You know how everybody talked about the Lakers and the Miami having that nice little gel? I could have my perfect Super Bowl where I have my two favorite teams technically go up against each other. But I may be jumping ahead, guys, for the Miami. Don't judge me, but that's just me having hope for the family. Just so I can leave it right there, back in context. All right, Janelle, I think we've given the Dolphins some nice clap. I think I really want to jump into what happened with Cardi B. I'll say this weekend when we do release. You will see. Let me start off first and foremost before I jump into the deviosity of it. Happy birthdays to all the Libras out there. Cardi B's a Libra, Ashanti's a Libra, and I'm saying this because I follow some of these people on social medias, so I'm watching all the posts. Shout out to my dog Jakir. He's a Libra too. He's celebrating his birthday, amongst other people I know. You know, what I mean, pastors and whatnot, elders. But I would say this in the hopes of having fun. A lot of people has been talking dramatically about Cardi B's incident that happened via social media after her party, where she's taking a. Go ahead,
Oh, I mean, so let's start off by saying last week we did talk about Cardi's pending divorce. So this week, for her Um, for her birthday, she definitely seemed to be getting, cozy and getting it in with her husband. Because he's still her husband, regardless of whether
Yes.
divorce papers are pending. And it did seem like, they were getting along. He bought her a car. What did he buy her again? A Rolls?
Yeah, like a Rolls Royce truck. I think it's $500,000.
Yeah. I mean, we all know that Cardi can't drive, but like he just popping out with the, I'm sorry gifts. Wonderful. So who knows what's gonna happen there? They could end up patching things up, or it could just be the typical Libra that just goes back and forth with whoever they're with at the time,
Mm.
until finally just drop it. So I guess we'll have to watch. But other than that, her night was eventful, and at the end of the night, she did have an incident.
Yeah.
uh,
I would say this. So, Janelle, I like how you put it in incident. I didn't have a problem with the incident, and I'm gonna start out by saying this. Yes, guys. If you can Google it, she had a nip slip, so her breast was exposed along with her. If anybody can hear disrespectful, her areola was showing, and at first the media was like, "Oh my gosh, Cardi B exposed herself," and not saying I wasn't taken back because I mean, not to be perverted in any way. There's other pictures of her showing her breasts. There's pictures, videos of her during her days when she was a stripper that you can find via any unnatural sources that you may decide to go look for it under. Right. So it was never an issue for me.
what do you? What's an unnatural source?
Me
Are you
that if
talking
any like
like?
because somebody because what like a porn website or what I mean, not saying I'm trying to direct anybody to look to go search in any one of those websites to find any one of those and any one of those endeavors, right? But you can go ahead and find those and find that small detailed information there. Um, so it didn't really strike me in any form of shape of why. So at first I had to analyze why people's making a big deal. Is that, oh, she's doing this? And I'm gonna say this, from my side, a lot of people was like, this is one of the reasons why Offset doesn't want to be with her. And I'm like, but wait, hold up. Let's pull this back. But Offset was there with her when she was doing all this. So it's obviously, and then she actually had to respond to the statement of what happened to why she had a small incident of her breast being exposed, right? And not saying anything, I thought it was funny. She stated that, I mean, the picture was taken and she uploaded it by mistake. And upon uploading it, she tried to take it down. I mean, there's other ways you can stretch the narrative, but it was uploaded and it was taken down. For everybody who's seen it, I guess I'm shouting out kudos to you. For anybody who didn't see it, you can find it anywhere else. So that's on your personal endeavors. But one of the other conversation a lot of people attacked her for, which kind of hurt me because I'm gonna go at this from a husband standpoint. They attacked her based on the size of her areola, what her breast looks like currently, and not saying anything. It really kind of take me back, and I'm like, but guys, do you guys remember that she's also a mother at this moment? Like she gave birth. I'm not sure what type of process she's going through with her daughter, right? Because I do come across, and this is from an island standpoint, where some people have had their kids breastfeed upon their 3 or 4 years old. Not saying she's doing that with culture at all. You know what I mean? That's her personal business. But they started judging her based on how it looked. And I'm like, but why would you guys doing this? Because we talk about body shaming and attacking people in ways that they don't need to be attacked. Like people, I'm gonna say this, guys. We're in a generation where people are so superficial that if you look at somebody and you start being too distinctive about their body, some people may kill themselves. Not saying Cardi's type of person to do that, or some other people being like, you know what, because they're talking about my body in this way, I'm gonna have to go get surgery. And I'm very big on loving yourself and loving your body. Like, you know what I mean? If you do feel like you've gained too much weight, and I'm gonna use the word weight those are things that you can work on as a human being. You can go exercise. You know what I mean? Go on a diet. I don't not want to promote surgery and liposuctions because I like people naturally losing their weight. I'm not sure if Janelle may beg to differ, but in that sense, I do not feel like you should be shaming her like that. I'm gonna say this: one man's trash is the next man's treasure. So you, forever guy or our person out there who's looking at her and judging her based off how her nipple or areola look, right? There's guys out there with feet fetishes. There's people like sucking on toes, and you're worrying about her areola. I mean, it's obvious that she has somebody who she had a baby with, who obviously she's, I mean, based on the image of her birth night event that she's still having some form of intercourse with. I mean, don't judge me, guys. I'm just saying it based on the body language that we get, because me and my wife watched the little clip of her offset, and we were like, you know what? She's about to have that birthday sex. I'm not sure if there's any if, ands, but, or maybe about it. And based on the leak imagery after, I don't think it was more or less far off. And I think we joked about it. It was like, the conversation we had. And I'm gonna say this: this is grown folks talk when we're like, babe, she kind of looked like Offset put it on her, and that was her response after it was put on her. But those were the ways of we joked about it. But it's like, yo, you could. There's so many different things you could have attacked her for, but the size of her areola, the way her nipples look, like, come on, guys, come on now, are you serious? Are you serious?
Okay, so let me back up and break it down a little bit, because she did put out a video this morning, Wednesday morning, after the incident, that basically explained that she was supposed to be sending something to Offset. Um, she took a picture of something going on with her mouth, and I guess, being as comfortable as she is with her husband, her, boob was in the picture. She thought she was sending the picture, and instead she was uploading it. I don't know where she uploaded it to. I did not see the picture. I honestly was not involved in any of that. I pride myself on walking the walk, just like I talk the talk. I don't look at people's nudes. I don't look at people's leaked nudes unless they purposefully put them out there. So best believe last or a couple weeks ago, when Tyga's nudes were out there, I was looking at it because he is selling them on OnlyFans. So he
I
purposely.
was like, just so you know, I'm gonna got me a sneak peek.
I'm just saying, like, they made its way onto Twitter, but like he purposefully put it on the internet. Okay, I don't like the concept of people talking about revenge porn and talking about not sharing people's nudes, but then in the same breath going and either making a fuss about it on social media and talking about it so that others' interests are piqued, sharing the nudes themselves, or sending the nudes, via not social media, like WhatsApp or text message or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or going and actually like looking them up on whatever platform is leaking them, because I'm sure Media Takeout, like that, those kind of sites put them up.
Yeah.
I don't condone it, and I don't do it in my personal life. I don't like things like that. I feel like I've been around enough women who have been violated in that way. For me to partake in something like that, I think is hypocritical. I feel like if you are going to talk the talk that people should not leak people's nudes, you should also walk the walk and not look at them. There are so many people who have put out, even this quarantine period, there were a few people in Jamaica who had leaked nudes, and like the whole timeline was talking about it. Up to now, I have not seen. I will not go and ask for the pictures. I will not go and look for the pictures on social media. That's just, I do not do things like that. I don't like it at all. So I have not seen Cardi's areolas, whether they were from their stripper days or not. But she did say that she's not, too upset or perturbed about the fact that people saw her nipples, because she at one point in time was a stripper, and in the beginning of her career she used to show her tits like if nothing. So more power to her. um However, what I don't like is the violation of knowing that, like, you did not purposefully put them out. That's what I don't like. um, Back in the day, if she chose to put those pictures out, that's a different story. At this point in time, she has explained that, her areolas are big. She has been breastfeeding culture. I think she said for a few months she breastfed culture, and her areolas had already gotten big because of childbirth. Now, I also want to break down the fact that there are so many men out there who miss this concept entirely. When women give birth, their entire bodies change. There's nothing that doesn't change about a woman when she gives birth. She gets pregnant and she gains weight. She gets pregnant and she gains hips, because God knows if I could get some hips without having a baby, I would. She, her boobs change. They get bigger. They get bigger and swollen, because there's two different kinds of bigger in that sentence. The nipples do change. You might get some, stomach fat area. You might get some, what do you call these? I want to call them tiger stripes, but what's the proper name for it?
Stretch marks.
Stretch marks. Your nose actually could get wider. I don't know if you've seen that, CN, but like, yeah, like your organs in general, they make room for this child. The child itself can deplete your nutrients in your body and have your body doing different things as well. There are so many changes that women go through when they go through the process of childbirth that I think it's audacious of men to be sitting on the internet behind computer screens talking about a woman who has given birth. And I see this not only on the internet, but in personal lives as well. I have seen men actually try to make the women who give birth to their children feel bad for the changes that their body has undergone. And I just don't know if it's a matter of men being ignorant to the biology of the whole thing, or if it's really just men just being disgusting. Because there are, like, you can never tell these days. Like, men are disgusting, but like, are you this disgusting is really the question, right? I've seen men, make fun of women for the weight that they gained within the first month of childbirth. Not even like, give her some time to lose the weight, but like within the first month, you already talking about how she looked fat, her clothes don't fit her. Like, at this point, it's just, you're showing how disgusting you are. Honestly, there has been so many things that I can say, you've already shown your colors to. I'm not really entirely sure how some of these men are still getting vagina, but that is another question altogether. My point that I'm getting to here is that Cardi put out her statement explaining that even though she went and got a boob job after the fact, after she had culture, and after she was done breastfeeding, because her areolas had already gotten larger. When she got the boob job done, her areolas were still large. I'm not sure if she's going to, get it fixed or do anything different or whatever, but that's her business. That's her husband's business. And that's whoever the hell is having sex with her's business, because the whole internet is not having sex with her. And I guarantee the whole internet can't have sex with her. They can only look at her. So I just think that people need to stop attacking women for the things that their body undergoes, during childbirth. I just think that should not be a thing. I don't understand how you can fix your mouth to like say words like, she has ugly areolas. Like, I don't know. Neither here nor there. I do think that this topic was a big one for me, because I've seen so many women be affected by different areas of this topic. And I'm just kind of over it at this point. There's really no reason for body shaming altogether. There's no reason to body shame women who have given birth whose bodies have changed, because I mean, if you were really paying attention, you would have seen her boobs and her nipples before she had a baby to understand that this is not how her body used to look. But even if it is how her body looks now, it is biology. It's biology.
Mm-hmm.
um she also went as far as to say that childbirth did not actually affect her vaginal area, which she's happy about. And, woot, more power to her. Um, this is just something that I feel like didn't even need to be explained to the internet because, again, the audaciousness, like, how dare you? How dare you pick at her areolas? Um, I will say, Cardi Boo, next time you upload something by accident, you don't turn your phone off, you turn your internet off.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have stopped the process. That definitely would have stopped the process.
I'm not I'm not even into technology like that, and I know that. I don't know what that was. But I mean, also I just imagine she was kind of drunk as well. This is, the night of her birthday. It is what it is. She made a mistake. Like I said, I don't think that she should have had to explain anything to anyone, regardless of whether she's in the public eye, regardless of whether she has fame or celebrity status. I just think that people on the internet these days just expect so much from people that they don't actually know. Like, you don't know these people. You are not friends with these people. You are not, I mean, they don't even know you exist. And you would like an explanation as to why they do the things that they do and why their bodies look the way that they look. It's just ridiculous. I use that term a lot, but God no. Like, ridiculous has to be what I like. It's like the theme for people.
I
I
mean,
don't.
I'm gonna say this. I mean, you touch on something when you talk about the body shaming. It's crazy because they're picking at something that to me they see every day on TV, on every form of social media. I'm not care what you on Instagram, Twitter, depends on who you follow on Snapchat or whatnot. Like, these little things are thrown in your face. Like, it's crazy because they're body shaming her for little small areas of her body that really don't change your life. Because I've seen Cardi and I'm not just going to use Cardi. I've seen other artists in bathing suits where it's basically just covering the areola, right? You go to the strip clubs, you see girls walking around bare naked all the time. Like, a lot of these people act like they've never seen Cardi before or seen a woman before. I'm gonna say this, like, and you said something earlier that really did touch when you talk about everybody who shared it, because even though she made a mistake, if no one didn't get up to want to share it, talk about it, or post it anywhere, and just leave it as, oh, Cardi made a mistake and keep it popping, nobody would have ever known, right? But this is the issue that we have now. This is how crazy it would sound when Halle Berry did Swordfish, and they had to pay her an extra $2 million for her to show her breasts in the movie. Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, she's behaving like a whore. She's selling her breasts." And homegirl was like, "Nah, it's $1 million per areola." You feel what I'm saying? And they judge her for that. Now, it's one thing to be judged when you sell it, and then you getting judged when you do it for free. And I feel like this is the part where in the society in the world that we have, where there's no median with anybody else. It's like, what do you want? Do you want me to sell it or show it for free? Oh, well, we don't want you to show it at all, but I have to show it to somebody. Somebody will get married to me. I will find a companion. It will be seen by someone. Worst case scenario, I just don't want a doctor to be the only person looking at it, right? But it's still gonna be here or seen by someone. So just leave me alone. Like, and I would say this: we talk about and this is for our people who's scientific. If we're so indigenous and came from apes and all of that, aren't we used to seeing, like, back in the day, cave ladies or women walk around without a top on? Like, if Cardi, and I think Cardi's addressed it a couple of times already, as she was down there exposing the hoo-ha, which I'm gonna say this to me, the hoo-ha goes a little bit beyond because you have to target the area certain ways to want to expose that, right? If she was exposing that, I think we would maybe have a different conversation. But then again, even if she was, it's still hers.
I kind of I disagree here because like regardless of whether she's exposing her front or not, she was attempting to send it to her husband.
Yeah, you know,
Her whole
facts, facts,
like,
which
um
is true because she wasn't trying not to make it public. It was
right
something she was done in private of her own comfort, her own home.
there's a complete difference between what I choose to send to somebody and what I choose to do with my body and my pictures than what like is being done to it. And that's where the violation comes in. And I used this example earlier when I was speaking to somebody. I don't think that it is a, a correct example. Like it doesn't convey the depth of this situation, but I'm going to use it regardless. It's like when someone breaks into your car or your house or whatever and takes something of yours. Like you didn't give it to them, they took it. So it's different if I choose to say, okay, this piece of jewelry in my jewelry box, I haven't used it in years. I probably won't use it again. It's so old. I don't even really like it. Here, have it. Like, I'm not going to use it, right? Instead of somebody coming in and saying like, oh, this old piece of jewelry, like I want this, like I know she ain't using it, like I'm gonna take it. It's a completely different scenario when it comes to the actual violation. The act that is violating is that people are doing it without her consent, because had she chosen to decide to take pictures and post them, which is not what was happening, she was
Yeah.
accidentally posting them, but had she chosen to do it and put it out there, then that would be a completely different conversation because it's hers. She can do whatever she wants with it.
Yeah, and you hear something crazy? Everybody told Cardi she needs to start a fan only, right? If she would have started and posted on fans only, would we be having this conversation? Or only fans, guys? As you can tell, I am not familiar with the lingo. Don't go there, so I don't even know which word it is. But if she would have started one of the times and did it, what would the conversation has been? Because when she first came out and she was like, you know what? And I'm gonna say this, Cardi prides herself on being unfiltered, right? Like she's living her best life. And guys, I'm gonna say this. I think this is one of the reasons why the world is where it is. Like a lot of us is caught up into what people are doing, living their best life when we should be living our best life. Like if Cardi was doing some terroristical act towards people of the country, I will understand. And I mean, one man terrorist is an X-Men freedom fighter. But if it's little nip slip, a little conversation that she's having here and there, it's like, yo, you guys are pushing over the edge because Cardi don't dictate what happens to your life. Matter of fact, she don't dictate what happens to your country, even though you guys trying to put her in political sense, just like everybody else when they have a question. But she doesn't dictate your life. So regardless if she had a nip slip or not, what does that have to do with your day-to-day endeavors? That's my strong. What did it change in your life? Okay, so I'm gonna say this for all the people who went out and saw it, you saw her areola. What did it change? Right? Did that do anything for you? Now, let me say this. It didn't do anything for you, but what would you think it would do to her or another person by body shaming them? What do you think it puts people in mental space? I'll say this. I've come to understand the term people having anxiety attacks, right? Not saying I never understand what anxiety attack is. I guess I had an attack like that a couple years ago, and someone had explained to me that I was having an anxiety attack, and I was like, "No, dog. Like I'm just having serious headache, and I feel like I can't breathe." But why you can't breathe? And it's like an anxiety attack. But it's like people go through these things, and and I'm gonna say this. Shout out to Cardi B because she's never proven me as a weak-minded person to commit suicide. Not saying people who are weak-minded commit suicide. People who commit suicide need help, right? But for you to body shame somebody, it will drive them to do things they don't need to do, right? Then again, we make fun of people like Michael Jackson and Lil Kim for going through their surgical process the way they could. When people was telling Michael when he was younger, well, you're not the cutest little brother. You're the one with a little big nose. See what happened to the man nose? You saw it? Just because you tell a man that he needs to have a cuter nose, then when you're the star, Michael, we can make you look better. The early days of surgery, we're gonna make you look good. And I'm again, look at his nose. Oh, little Kim, you know what? You need to be a little bit more lighter. You need to be a little bit more prettier. And I think Spice addresses when she talked about her colorism, and you see it in a lot of these entertainers nowadays who's lightening their skin. I won't call their names because that's a whole other conversation. But for you to see what your comments will do to somebody's statue is dangerous. And I would like to think about the person. I think one of my cousins said it best. He was like, "Yo, I got thick skin. You have to be Jamaican in a sense that because you can take some mountain." But I have news for you. If you're not born in that environment, matter of fact, if you're not born in a hood where you're growing up on your mama jokes, you ain't ready for the bashing on the internet. If you ain't grow up in another country where I'm gonna use Jamaica when them say you gotta learn how to take mountain, right? You ain't ready for certain of the comments. You have to be mentally ready to know when somebody tells you, like for example, somebody's coming and said, you don't look cute with glasses on. You'll be like, really? So do I need to only wear contacts? You're gonna look at me like, nah, I know what I look like with my glasses on. Matter of fact, I really don't care because this is how I do my thing. You feel what I'm saying? But to the wrong person, it is dangerous. We as a society and as a people, we have to think about that. Because at the end of the day, we're gonna hear this big thing, I don't stand for bullying. Right? But body shaming is bullying. Not because you're not physically hurting somebody doesn't mean you're mentally not hurting them. And I'm gonna say this crazily. A lot of time physical wound heals, and I'm gonna use the word a lot of times because if you broke off somebody's foot or chop it off, it ain't coming back. But it's a higher percentage chance that emotional wounds or emotional scars they do not go away. It's like an unhealing cut. And like you got a little cut and a little alcohol touches and it starts burning. It's worse than that because it's a cut that will never heal. And I'm gonna say this as an individual because I think men don't have different conversation with therapy. There's still stuff that I've dealt with in my personal life that I'm needing healing from at this current moment. Right? Not that would be for a whole nother podcast, but just to show you wounds, especially mental wounds, they stay there. So you guys got to be careful with that, right? Please do, because I would hate to see Cardi come back when her nipple look like a fingernail because she's like, is it small enough for you guys now? Because the last time it was too big,
Oh no.
right? And then we're gonna have the conversation. Next thing you know, too much surgery can give breast cancer, and I would hate for her to catch some disease because she's trying to make some of y'all people happy. And guys, I'm using Cardi as I'm gonna say this. I think my brother-in-law ages use it more. I'm using Cardi as a martyr for the situation because this does not only go out to Cardi B. This goes out to me with any female in the 21st century and any female who's around technology at this moment. I would say this. I think celebrities lived a better life without the internet. I'm a strong believer in that for all celebrities. Um, it's crazy. I would like to say celebrities can't have a social media, but who am I to tell somebody they can't live their life?
But to be fair, this isn't a gender thing because there are plenty males out there who do the surgery and try to improve and try to look like male models and that kind of thing. So it's not really about the gender of it. It's really about the pressure. And yeah, like I completely agree when it comes to people talking about people's bodies on the internet and thinking like it's almost a situation where people don't really realize their impact because it's just me, like it's just one person, like it's not that deep, but there are millions of just yous that are saying the same things and nastier things, and culminating in a series of just like disgusting comments that this one person has to read 24/7. And I think that people just don't understand the impact of that. Or well, she can always log out. And I mean, let's be realistic here. Like we're not living in an era where people are completely unplugged from social media anymore. I mean, you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is check your social media. So it's highly unfair to tell people just log out, especially people that are celebrities that are making money off of being on social media.
Yo,
Uh,
for real.
like that's not gonna happen. So I think people try to use excuses and justify things, and just it doesn't make any sense to try to justify negative and bad behavior on the internet. It really is about policing yourself. Like you figure out if what you're doing is okay and you feel good about it, and if you feel like this is something that's okay and good, then you probably should be checking yourself, because there's something inherently wrong with the things that you think are okay and good. um I don't know. I'm at a point where I'm just getting over social media, especially Instagram. I feel like I rarely go on Instagram anymore. I mean, that could also have to do with their algorithms changing, because I mean, they're really in a competition right now to see, like, if they can become the worst social media out there. Because, like, I don't even see people's posts anymore, unless they're like, celebrities or something. And I rarely even follow celebrities, so it's kind of wild. Um, but I just know that people's comments on the internet have gotten to a point where it's like you're either gonna realize that this is destroying lives, or we're just gonna basically go down a black hole of like what the internet has done to people. And I feel like we've seen it over and over again, where people either commit suicide, or after they leave, it's like this is what they were going through, and it's almost like people just don't learn their lesson. Literally a few weeks ago we were talking about Black Panther.
Hmm.
People over here bullying him, and
Yo,
then he
not knowing what he was going through.
dies, and it's like, oh my god, don't bully people and don't make fun of people for their appearance. And like, look what literally just happened with Cardi. It's just so unnecessary. I just don't understand how people have the time, the effort to put into things like this on the internet. But that's just me, because I have an actual like job, and I do things that aren't sitting on the internet watching people's lives 24/7. I do know there's a large proportion of society that does this, and I just think it's just sick. Like, go out, do something.
Well, as crazy as it sound, just to take back on the going out, I think that's one of the reasons why. Well, I can't even say this because before people were still doing it. I wasn't going to give the world the excuse that because we're in a pandemic, that's what most people are reduced to at this moment is to be on their smart devices, being nosy into other people's business. But regardless if we're in a pandemic or not, go
But guess,
ahead.
like, during quarantine, when I mean, I'm still not going places, like, just to put that out there. Like, I haven't put gas in months because I haven't really left my house very often. But during the period where everyone was quarantining and everyone was doing essentially what they were supposed to be doing, I was also on the internet and on social media. But no, I was not talking crap about people on the internet. I was looking at funny memes, and I was listening to online parties and finding ways to actually be I don't know, an upstanding member of society. I was finding books to read, things that I haven't done in forever. I was doing. People were cooking and baking, and you're over here talking crap about people on the internet. You
Yeah.
understand? Like, there's just so many other ways to be productive and to like do substantial things in life, and instead people choose to sit down on the internet in front of their computer screen
Yeah,
and
I mean,
be
you touch on something like do something more productive. Listen to more episodes of our podcast. It's like, but you are right. People are, and I don't want to use the word wasting their time. I feel like in this, what should have happened after Chadwick, and I don't want to just use Chadwick alone because we've had other martyrs for this position, but he's the most common one. That's the reason I'm going to use him. But what we should have learned is that you don't know what's going on before you make that judgment. And I can be so, and I don't want to wish bad blessing on Cardi. Cardi, don't be get mad at me if you hear me say this. Suppose that picture was like something was wrong with her breast, right? And that was her showing her husband, even though she said that what the picture was about her mouth, right? But at that moment, instead of understanding what's going on, people try to judge her. Like, you know what I mean? The question should have been like, Cardi, you good? Right? You know, like if this was a nip slip, your Cardi, you know what, mama? You got a nip slip out there. You good? You feel me? Let's check on people's mental space when something is wrong before we jump to the badger. Like, yo, I see you, and I'm gonna say this, and I feel like a lot of people, we we're in a world, and I'm trying to find the better way of saying this, where more people are out there trying to find ways of being enemies than to be friends. You know what I mean? Not saying to me. Hopefully, if I was the one that caught the clip and like, Cardi, you drop something you need to drop, I probably would have been a friend right there. That could have been an Instagram come up. Cause low key she may would have give you shout out to Just Context for putting my nip step in context for me. But I'm just saying, it's like a lot of times you people forgetting that the story of the Good Samaritan has stuck around so long that people we're so okay with watching people do evil and get away with it. Because when the first picture should have got shared, like, oh, Cardi's nip slip, the first person who would have got it should have said, bruh, don't send that to nobody else.
And it does come back to bite you in the ass. Like, um, what's that guy's name that used to be in charge of like that gossip website, like all the way back in the day? I forgot his name. He's a gay man out in California, and like it took him a while, but at this point, he's out here like apologizing to everyone that he used to like, you know, put their life all over social media. Things like that will come back to bite you in the ass. Like it's karma at the end of the day. Like you don't do things like that and put secrets out and stuff like that, and it just expect like life to be great for you. That doesn't happen. And that was how he made his money. That was his living. Like he survived off of that, and thrived off of it, because we have a culture that wants to know, no, 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 no. And at this point, he's really just running around to everyone he can think of to apologize. Like he genuinely is just feeling horrible about what he used to do.
Jenna, I think you say it right there. It's that come up. A lot of people, I'm very big on not selling my soul to be rich, and I feel like we're in a time and a place, especially based on media, that there's too many people there willing to tear somebody apart for them to have a major come up. Because I'm gonna say this, you already know the person who caught the first slip of any of that picture and sold it to the other media source before realize that it's not posted anywhere, already caught bread off of it. We're in a society where if as a girl, you and your spouse, or I mean, we're in a society where anybody we're all mixed in different ways, make a recording that they could go sell it to a website of that demeanor, make money off of you without your consent. Like that's a time where we're in a place where, and I would say this 90% of the time, and guys, not to be disgusting, so don't judge me. If you and your girl record a video and you plan on selling it, probably if you ask her, she may agree with you, and you may get way more money. Cause you know why? Now you got double the promotion. But instead of sitting there and trying to find some way to hurt somebody, we should be in a part of life to help people up. And I think this goes back to my final part of the segment, knowing that we're running low on time, is that we're in a society now where we're talking about Black Lives Matters. I believe in the All Life Matters thing as well, but right now Black lives does matter. But if we ourselves can't look at our own sisters, our own brothers, and see that they need help right next to us and can't help them, what sense you're making doing if you're trying to fight for a cause when you can't even help the person sitting right next to you? I think that would be a very bigger question, because I've seen that more now than anything else before, that we're here very more than anything comfortable with ripping people apart, like in any form or shape. Like, why can't we just be helping people? And I'm not talking about like going off the hinges, but old school. Like if like most people live in their neighborhood that don't know their neighbors. That is crazy to say. If you need some sugar, and I'm not saying we're all broke enough to need sugar, but sometimes you don't need. You're not baking, bruh. You're just making a cup of tea. But you can't even look next to her and be like, "Yo, John, let me get one of those sugar packets that you're not using." Or let me get a spoon of sugar. I'm just making a little bit of tea. I'm gonna go to the grocery store later on. We can't do that because we're in a society where we're not trying to build with each other, right? We're in a part where, and I don't want to use to stigmatize ourselves of racially being divided, but we're at a point that we're so blinded by color, right? That the thought of us moving forward, we still don't even have an I'm gonna say a path to move forward. Like I would not say this is just within the United States. Uprising is going on all over the world in different racial distances. But in this moment, I feel like we need to find common ground. And I'm not saying to bend to anybody's will because I'm not bending, and I know the next person will want to bend. But we need to find common ground, and so we all can move forward. I mean, I'm gonna let you close out.
Well, I just want to back up and say I had to do a Google search real quick. His name is Perez Hilton. The one I was talking about, his name would not come to me. But yeah, he's been in the media over the last week, basically saying that he, wishes to apologize because he didn't have to be so cruel to people, putting their business out.
Wait,
Um,
Joe, what was his name again?
Perez Hilton.
Oh yeah, I remember him. I remember him.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen much of him since, back in the day. He was big, I think, early 2000s.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes. He was because of what was her name again? Perez Hilton. The what you call it? The heiress, Paris
Paris.
Hilton. So the Perez Hilton was he because he's a Miami guy. I remember him. I
His
remember.
real name's something.
Yeah, he's from Miami. I remember. Because you're right. They did give him a lot of media time when he started doing this whole I'm outing people's information and every dirt that I get, I want to post it. Yeah, you're completely correct.
Yeah. And he did it to his friends. Like, it wasn't just people he, didn't know, wasn't familiar with. Like, he did it to everybody. Um, anyway, just, wrapping up, I just think that this was a big topic that I wanted to touch on because I think that society right now is just not it's not doing great in my opinion. I think that we're attacking people and just being really nasty to people for absolutely no reason. Humanity is necessary right now, especially in these times, and
Mm.
the kindness that it takes to be humane, I just think that people are overlooking it. It doesn't take much. Even as simple as you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. um, so yeah, to wrap up, guys, last week we discussed celebrity breakups, starting off with Cardi and Offset, and apparently they are intent on not breaking up. I don't know. Cien, you don't know. None
No,
of
I
us.
would say I would say this. I mean, I think Offset made a post when he was like, "Yo, we still winning." And I'm happy the post said that because
He said I won.
I won. Well, thank you for putting it back in context. That he won, but I would say this. This
Because
is one of the reason why
no,
it
wait.
you can't,
You remember initially when they had that first breakup over the cheating? He tweeted and he was like, "Y'all won," as
yeah.
if it was social media's fault that she broke up. So now this time he put out a picture and said, "I won."
just so we can keep that one in context. So guys, I would say this. I'm gonna say for Cardi B and off stream because yeah, that I know I must stream that from the different networks, but I pray for their relationship. I pray for anybody's relationship to be successful. I pray that they learn like whatever drove them apart, that they can fix it. I would say this: if they can't fix it, I would prefer them to separate. Don't let it get dangerous, guys. Please don't. We have enough black couples going through different things for it to get this way. And I'm gonna say this, Cardi, don't start an entanglement. Definitely not with August. But just so I can have some fun with that one. Guys, again, as you know, say we didn't check that last episode out, go ahead and take a look and listen to it. The link will be in the bio as well. because it's on our website. It has some very great information. Um,
Mike Pence's Fly. Mike Pence's Fly did make a really big showing in our last podcast.
yeah, yes, he did. Shoot, he made a showing all over the world. I would say this, Janelle. Do you know he's still trending?
The Fly?
Yeah, the fly is still trending, boy.
I'm telling you, he was the star of the show. He's trying to get his 15 minutes. I don't wrong him. I think I saw a picture of him on like somebody, Amy Barrett, the Supreme Court lady's
Yeah.
back. Yeah, like the Fly is just traveling. Like he's in it for the fame right now.
I'm telling you, I mean, everybody's like, if they do have another presidential debate, he's showing up. So we're, you know what I mean? I think the funniest one I have is if you watch any of the little wrestling memes on when they're running out, like the Jim Ross, oh, he's running out. They already have the Fly running out for the next presidential debate if it does happen. But again, guys, those are some of the things. If you did go ahead and miss it in the last episode, go ahead and take a listen. Jet, you have anything else you want to throw out there before we go?
Nope, I'm good. Come back next week. Comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend.
All right, so we can put it back in context just for you. Peace.